Record. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Saturday morning new distributor training. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm a independent distributor with Zege International, living the life unlimited. Get that in there? Yeah, very good. Very excited about this morning's training. I'm going to have as my guest speaker, guest host, I guess, or hostess, whatever. Amy McKenzie. For most of you that have been around Zege for a while, you recognize Amy McKenzie. She's one of our top leaders. She's a documented six-figure income earner, member of the Teens Benz program. Zege International is paying for her pretty new Mercedes Benz. One of our top trainers, field leaders. So she'll be with me here a little bit later on in the morning. First of all, I want to welcome all of you who have joined us this morning. What's most exciting is I'm looking at the little list on the side. You'll see me glancing over. Certainly a number of our top leaders in the field. Phil Jacobson. I see Mike Crane. Christine Holland. She was part of our Biz Talks presentation here on Thursday. But in particular, what I want to do is I want to welcome those of you whose names I don't recognize. And you're actually the reason that we was prompted to do this particular training this morning. We've had a number of conversations with people just getting started in Zege. And one of the common themes that I've seen here in the last week or two is that people want to create full-time incomes. They're looking for ways to create the time freedom that comes from having a home-based business, yet the financial resources to either replace their current income or to actually go beyond that, create financial security, financial prosperity, and in some cases, even go beyond that to financial abundance. And so that's going to be our focus this morning, is how to get off to a fast start and to create your own Zege story. Now, for those of you that are just getting started, let's get a few foundational things established for you. One of the things that's true is that in any profession, okay, it takes time to grow in the profession. It takes time to learn, to become a professional. In most cases, you're looking at situations where, it could take, years and years and years of education just to get started. Now, the challenge we have in network marketing is frankly, anybody can join network marketing. Okay, we don't have requirements. I mean, if you're going to get paid, you got to have, a government ID number, social insurance, or social security number. But really, beyond that, there is no requirements. And the perception is that it doesn't take any knowledge or experience to do this. Now, on the one hand, I'll say that's true. All right, if you have some of the advantages, for instance, that I had 30 plus years ago when I joined network marketing in my very first company, I had no experience in sales, marketing, promotion, public speaking, any of that stuff. I was a cross-country truck driver. Now, I was really good at that, okay, but it didn't have any of the skill sets that, one would perceive are important in our type of business. However, I did have the only three things that you need to be successful in our profession. And you may want to write these down in your notes. Number one, I had very good work ethics. I was a hard worker. I've always been a hard worker. I don't know any other way to do it. And in our particular situation in network marketing, when I say good work ethics, what I mean by that is not so much that you have the capacity to work, 10, 12, 15, 18 hours a day, but rather good work ethics that you have the capacity to create a schedule, commit to certain activities, and then follow through, do the activities. I mean, if you have 30 minutes to work your Zege business on a daily basis, commit to correct activities during those 30 minutes, and then do it every single day. I had good work ethics. If I said I was going to be there, I was there. Number two, I was highly coachable. See, when I first joined my very first network marketing company, my personal sponsor, my enroller, was already $1 million earner. And I'm not trying to say I was, I'm some dumb truck driver that just got rich. No, 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 no. I'm a smart guy. Here's what I figured out. Number one, my sponsor had what I wanted. He had an extraordinary level of income and time freedom and flexibility in his day-to-day schedule to be able to devote time to his family and his children and so on. Number two, he clearly knew what to do. That was demonstrated by his story. Because he'd done it, that was the documentation that demonstrated he knew how to be successful in this type of business. And number three, I figured out real quick, he wasn't going to make any money off me unless he taught me everything he knew. Okay, and so I'm not saying I was dumb. I'm fall off off the turnip truck. I had this deal down. I understood what I needed to do. So I had good work ethics. I was highly coachable. I did not spend any time trying to figure the deal out. I simply focused on what my sponsor suggested I do first, then next, and the next. I just followed the leader. Now, the third ingredient that I had was a burning desire to succeed. And this is critical. Why you need to be successful is as important as what you do. Because a highly developed desire for success is going to help create the first two things: good work ethics, coachability. Okay, so I had the three ingredients were necessary, and I had the advantage of working with somebody that already knew what to do. Now, what I want to share with you is that in network marketing, while anybody can join, it only makes sense if you want some of the higher levels of residual income that are available to us. You need to do what the successful people have done. You need to learn what they know. And now, in the early days of Zija, when I first started with Zija, I had already done this twice before. I did my first company. I spent 2 years there, did well. It wasn't the best timing with that company. I went to a second company. It was a very mature company. They had a tremendous infrastructure, but I got in before the masses, and because I knew what to do and I engaged actively, I literally retired 10 years after joining network marketing. That was phenomenal. Now, fast forward a number of years when I was introduced to Zija and realized this was the right company, right corporate leadership, right product focus. Being part of a Ken Brailsford company, I mean, anybody that has the level of, background and experience that I have in the industry would die to be part of a Ken Brailsford company, especially in the early days. Now, the advantage I had is I'd already done this. I knew exactly what to do and how to do it. And so in your notes, you may want to write this down. My number one priority the day I started my Zija business was to create my own personal success story. Now, there's a reason for this. The story does a number of things. It documents that the business works. It documents there is a system in place. And for me personally, I was able to document that I knew the system, it worked, and I could teach others. And my story was very simple. I used to be a cross-country truck driver, introduced to to Zija International, and what I did is I got excited about the ability to create a long-term residual income from the comfort of home while I took care of my elderly mothers, a home-based business, part-time business. And so I purchased a diamond pack, gave me ample product to work with, gave me some leverage in the compensation plan, and then I put together a list. In the first 2 weeks, contacting people that I knew, I had 6 customers, and I developed 3 distributors. They all joined with diamond packs, helped them get a first couple of customers and distributors, and within 2 weeks, I'd recouped all of the cost of my initial package and was in profitability. Within the first year, I'd created a full-time income working part-time from home. That was my story. Now, why was that my only focus? Because my fast start story Not only did it aid me in my recruiting efforts as I was talking to people about, hey, let me tell you what happened in my first 2 weeks. Let me tell you what's happened in my first 30 days. But it also became an incredibly powerful tool as I was building Downline, as I was taking my brand new distributors. They did not have a financial story, and they could introduce me to their prospective distributors, and I could share my story. Now, I knew what the focus should be. I also knew what to do. Now, for those of you that are just getting started, I encourage you to take a few minutes and get some foundational information. In the early days of Zija, we didn't have that many people. A lot of this was done one-on-one as we were building the business. Today, that's really not possible. And so what we've done is we've created resources so that you can be able to get this information. Even if your sponsor's been in the business 1 hour longer than you, they can direct you to you getting this information. Now, I have a YouTube channel. Okay, on that YouTube channel, I've put a playlist called New Distributor Training. The YouTube channel is www.youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija. So youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija. When you get there, click on playlist. There's only one playlist, and it's New Distributor Training. There are 4 videos. The first video is 30-minute training called New Distributor Training, and it is the foundational knowledge that I was taught in my very first company 32, I think, years ago. It's what's being taught today by the people that know what to do. It is created, countless numbers of millionaires. This foundational knowledge of what our profession really is something you should get underneath your, belt. You should learn this. Now, I'm not saying you need to be able to teach it. I'm saying spend 30 minutes. Learn what I was taught that helped me be able to build my Zija story. Then there are 3 other little videos. They're average about 10 minutes each. And collectively, those 3 little videos could be considered the fast start training. How to create a prospect list like a professional network marketer using a memory jogger. How to create your story and a 90-day game plan. And if you put all that together, you're talking about 1 hour of your time. I'm not saying that you're going to know everything there is to know and you're going to be proficient at it with 1 hour, but what you will have is the foundation necessary to launch your business working with your active, engaged upline. So for those of you that are brand new, get that underneath your belt. We're not doing that this morning because it's already recorded. You can already go there. And folks, plug in to your active upline. I'm not saying the stuff that I've put on YouTube is the end-all and that's all there is, okay? It's just my information that I share, okay? There's a lot of people. David Moses is our top income earner. He's created environments with a tremendous amount of training available. Pat Anderson, many of you are familiar with Pat. Many of you are part of her organization. Her website, www.clubmoringa.com, tremendous amount of information. Frankly, the stuff I put out there isn't quite that flashy. It's not particularly, exciting and stuff. There's no dancing girls, no music, but it is knowledge that I have gained over 30 years, and I encourage you to go there to get that foundation. Now, let's understand what our profession is, and this is really something that's very important. For new distributors, make a decision in the beginning what you want. It's a concept that I learned many years ago. It has served me well in virtually every endeavor I've ever taken. You may want to put this in your notes. Start with the end in mind. Okay, start with the end in mind. And in our particular situation, here's something that's almost a guaranteed failure. When a new distributor joins the company, and what they'd really like is that freedom to have a full-time income from a business that they control as opposed to a job that controls them. But their focus is to start out dabble a little bit, see how it goes. And if it really starts to take off, then they're going to put more time in it. That is not starting with the end in mind. I'll give you another example. When you get married, most people, I'm not saying everybody, most people don't get married going with the attitude, well, hey, let's get married, let's see how it goes. If it works out well, hey, we'll stay together. The marriage vows are till death do us part. Okay, marriage is a very serious thing. People typically take a long time to make a decision to get married because they're looking at a lifelong commitment. When you have your first baby, you don't go, hey, it's really cute, hey, we'll give it a little time, see how it does. If it does good, we'll keep it. No. Focus on what the end is. And if your desire is to create a full-time income, that dictates certain things. It dictates a level of activity, a level of coachability, and a long-term commitment. Okay, trust me on this. There isn't a single top income earner in our company or any other company that didn't take time to get there. Okay, it takes time. But you do need to start with the end in mind. That should be your focus. So decide, what do you want? Decide in the beginning what you want. Don't wait to see if it works. It works. Okay? You can't have as many people as we have in Zija today making significant, high five, six-figure annual income, multiple six-figure annual incomes. Obviously, it works. And when you look at all the different types of people that are in those high income ranges, anybody can do this because there is no particular unique skill set or what have you, or background, education, what have you, that creates the success. It's the willingness to work, willingness to learn, burning desire to succeed, and a commitment to correct activities consistently over a prolonged period of time. That's it. The hardest part of what we do is finding the right company. That's the hardest part. And since you're here with Zija, you found the right company. Now, decide what you want. Start with the end in mind. Get your new distributor training out of the way. Take 60 minutes and just listen. Jot down a few notes. Start your journal. Now, it's very important to understand what our industry really is. Network marketing is a distribution or business model. It works. It's been around for approaching 70 years. One of the challenges we have in our profession is finding the right company at the right time. And see, for most people, they're attracted to a network marketing company because of a product. I'm going to tell you right now, it takes more than a good product to sustain a long-term opportunity. I joined Zija because of the business and understanding that network marketing, this distribution model, works if you have a company that will sustain long-term growth, and if you have a product line that meets a genuine need that people will use it on a daily basis, reorder on a monthly basis, independent of whether or not they're involved in the business. Now, understanding the industry, be real clear on this. Some people think this is a business of selling products to friends and family. And that's part of it. Okay, but that is not what we do. Okay, some people think this is a business of recruiting people. That is part of it. But that is not the entirety of what we do. Okay, the simplest way for me to put this, and you may want to write this in your notes, what we do in our profession to create high levels of residual income is to create a large consumer base. We create large consumer bases. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, that means selling a lot of people. Yes, we sell our product. Yes, we recruit distributors. But it's an entirely different focus if you want to have ongoing, six-figure, multiple six-figure incomes. It's about developing a consumer base. Now let's talk about how we do that. We do that, then, and this you're getting in the new distributor, 30-minute new distributor training, 3 things. Number 1, we share our product. Number 2, we share our income opportunity. And number 3, we teach others to do the same. Network marketing at its highest level of professionalism is an understanding that this is a business of a lot of people doing a little, not a few superstars doing a lot. Duplication is the key to success in our business. Not teaching, how to recruit hundreds of people, not teaching how to develop, hundreds of customers at a time, but rather how to get, a couple of customers, a distributor or 2, and then be able to duplicate that through the masses. It's not just about getting customers. It's not just about recruiting distributors. Those are components of what we do, but it's development of a large consumer base. And these were the kinds of things that I understood when I first started. Now, what do you need to do step by step to create the story? And again, here's the focus. If I can show you as a brand new distributor whose end goal, what your long-term focus is to create an above average income or a substantial income through having your own personal home-based business where you can choose how to do your business, the time frames you do your business, and be able to have an environment where that high-level income can become long-term residual income, whether or not you happen to work today. Here's the few things that you want to focus on, and it all starts with creating your own story. And when I first started with Zija, that was my number 1 deal. That's all I cared about was my fast start story, because ultimately, here's the funny part. While it's interesting, the kind of income and lifestyle I have today to a prospective distributor, it can be, inspirational. Honestly, unless I'm giving my money to somebody, they could really care less how much money I make. They could care less, where I go to vacation, what kind of car I drive. What they want to know is, what did I do to get there, right? Because unless I'm giving it away to them, it doesn't make any difference to them. What they want to know is, what did I do my first day, my first week, my first month, my first year to create what I have today. That's why the story is so important. An effective story, if it's shared correctly, will be the roadmap, the guide for the new distributor, prospective distributor, on what they should do. It'll be the motivation or the inspiration that it can be done. It'll be the documentation that you're the person that can teach them. These were the things that were my focus. Now, number 1, you may want to write this in your list as a to-do list. Number 1, get the training. Spend the 60 minutes on my YouTube channel or one of the other leaders' YouTube. There's a lot of people that are part of Zija. Some are within my organization, some are not in my organization. Follow the leaders, the documented top income earners in your organization. Number 2, create a list. Most people don't understand how to do this. They stop with that first half dozen, 10 people that they associate with on a daily basis. And I got to be real candid with you. Most of your friends, your closest friends, are not who you're looking for. Okay, be clear on that. Now, a lot of them will be great customers. That's fine. Some of them could be good referrals. But frankly, in network marketing, the fact that you're here, you've made a financial commitment to some product, you're going to be committing time from your daily activities to building a business, you're investing in personal development and so on. Fact is, in most cases, the new distributor starting as their first multi-level business, they're already more entrepreneurial and success-oriented than most of their closest friends. So learn how to create the list so that, number 1, it is a much larger list than what people start with. If you start with a list of 8 or 10 or 12 people, and you understand that the law of averages is 1 in 10, you got a chance of getting maybe one distributor or one customer. I started with a very large list, and frankly, I don't recall how large the list was at this time. What I did do is I did exactly what I teach. I got a memory jogger. Memory jogger, if you don't know what that is, it's a paper and pencil tool that will help the average person create, instead of 5, 10, 15, 20 names, will create 100 names, 200 names. Statistically, by the time you hit about age 25 or 30, the average person knows 300 people on a first name basis. But we don't think about them because they're not people we associate with on a daily basis. Get a memory jogger. One of your upline distributors can get that for you. I have one that I personally use and hand out. Reach out to me if you want, and I'll send you mine via email. Put together the list. Have enough people to work with. What I did is I had a large enough list that I was able to trim that down into 2 categories, and this is really important to understand. 2 categories of people. One category was people I was going to share my product with, okay? And I started with 12. I took my entire list, I parted it down into 12. What was the criteria for those 12? Well, that they would have some interest in the product, but mostly they would buy the product. Many of those people on that list were going to buy the product no matter what. They were just to help me out. I call them the sympathy sales. I had a second list that of people that were going to be prospective distributors. These were people I was going to talk to about the business. This is really important, and you'll get more of this in the training. Pick one, okay? Are you going to talk to somebody about the product, or are you going to talk to somebody about the opportunity? Pick one. You're going to do both. You're going to talk to customers about the opportunity eventually. You're going to talk to distributors about the product, but pick one. Don't try and do both at the same time. 2 different types of people, 2 different categories, 2 different approaches. Now, here, because I had enough people to talk to, I talked to the list of two lists of 12, 24 people the first week. I did it the first week. And out of the list of 12 people that I was going to talk to about my product, 6 of them bought the product. So now, not only did I make some money, I had 6 new stories of people that were using the product to share with others. I documented people will buy the product. That's an important thing. Out of the 12 distributors on the prospective distributor list, 3 of them joined the business with me. And each of those 3 started with diamond packs, like I did. Now, that's incredibly high percentages, okay? 12, to get 3 out of 12, law of averages, 1 in 10. So that's what? Probably, 2.5 times normal. Now, why did I have such a high success rate in recruiting distributors, percentage-wise? Wasn't because I'm that good. It's because I followed the system and I pre-selected the people to talk to. They had to meet certain requirements, okay? They had to, I was looking for people that, were already successful at some level. I was looking for people that wanted more as opposed to needing more. I looked for people that, they had the capacity to join the business. They had a credit card, okay? Trying to go after your broke brother-in-law that tried to borrow money from you last week and talking to him about starting a business, wrong guy, okay? But I followed that little system. In the space of 2 weeks, I'd earned enough money from my Zija commissions to pay off the $1,300 that I'd spent on my credit card to get my diamond pack, and a couple of $100 more. And so I was in profit. That created my story. Once the list is there, engage. Have a few of your active engaged upline ready to go to work with you. Most important thing, don't do this by yourself. One of the reasons I was so successful is I knew exactly what to do. I made a phone call. I did an invitation. I plugged them into a tool. At the time, the best tool we had was a little 5-minute recorded telephone presentation about the company story, product story, and the opportunity. And I immediately plugged them into my sponsor, David Moses. Now, some of you thinking, well, yeah, it must be great to have, you know, multi-million-dollar earner David Moses to do the, you know, the upline validation. David had just started. He hadn't made millions yet, okay? It was simply somebody else telling the story. And I let David do the work. 3 steps, invited him to look, shared a little information, put him on the line with an upline. Boom, 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 boom. We did all 12 in the first week. And by the end of that second week, 3 of them joined the business. And we had already gotten a couple of them, some distributors. Most important thing, it created my story. And then I was able to start working in depth. Now, that's a topic for another day. And we're going to do that. We'll talk for those of you that are looking to create large self-duplicating distribution organizations. We're going to talk more about that in future new distributor trainings. What I want to do right now is I want to bring Amy over because I know hopefully you've got questions. I went through a lot of material really quickly. The best advantage of this time is with your individual questions and addressing them directly. Let me see, I've got a note here. Hey, Bob, good to see you, driver. Bobby Tyler. We get along real well. He's another over-the-road driver. I can relate to drivers. Hey, Amy, I'm bringing you over right now, sweetie. Hang on a sec. Where are you? Say Amy. Hello, Amy. There we go. Hey, Amy, how are you?
I'm great, Fred.
Very good.
Finishing up my last note here.
Hang on a second. Say it again.
I said just finishing up my last note here. Great training.
You know, I got to point something out, and again, folks, trust me, I'm not saying I'm the end-all. I mean, there are a lot of people that are way better trainers than me. You know, David Moses just buries me in experience. I've learned more about high-level leadership from David Moses here in my second decade in the profession than I did in the first one. I'm not the end-all recruiter. Amy McKenzie has out-recruited me and can out-recruit me every day of the week, okay? I'm just a guy that's willing to do the right things every day, day in and day out, and focus on the development of others. And Amy, I'm so excited that you were able to join us today. You know, for those of you that know Amy, she needs no introduction. For those of you that are brand new, let me introduce Amy McKenzie, Emerald Distributor, Team Ben's recipient, one of our top trainers. Not only is she way better than me, I mean, I have to tell you, I took a little time off, went off to an undisclosed island location last month. Amy covered me on some of the events. And the fact of the matter is, people kept saying, when's Amy coming back, Fred? Which kind of hurt my feelings a little, but great to see Amy. So what I'm going to ask you folks to do is we're going to do question and answers. I'm going to have Amy backing me up because she's better than I am. And frankly, maybe I can't say that in today's environment. Is it going to be appropriate for me to say she's better looking than me? That's okay, right? That's not harassment or anything. Okay, good. All right. Let's see. First question, Amy. This is from Michael in Sacramento. I don't have any active engaged upline except David Moses. What do you recommend I do for the validation step? I've been using tools to share the information, and I ask, what else do you need to make a decision? The help of an upline is what I don't have. All right. Now, let me do this, Amy. I would like you to address that because in a lot of ways, your situation is very similar to Michael's in that the only upline, I personally sponsored Amy, and so I'm her immediate upline, okay? And the fact of the matter is that my personal enroller is David Moses. Now, it's hard to get me a lot of times. Sometimes it's impossible to get David. Amy, I'm going to let you take a crack at Michael's question, and then maybe I'll back up on some stuff as well.
Well, okay. So Michael, first of all, hello. And thank you for the question. You know, the very first thing I want to tell you is that we really are committed in this company. I like to say, people name their teams. I like to say I'm on Ken's team, okay? We're all on the same team. And I will share my information, right? Because it's really important that we all work together. And what I did, because I didn't really have that option then, is I developed some people on my team. Now, here's the thing. Now, Fred, don't take this personally, but, you know, his story is galactic. It's almost too good. People can't relate to it. I actually found that I had some success by using people with a brand new story that was actually more effective in a sense. Again, no harm done there, Fred, right? We love your story. But when someone's just starting, it actually means a tremendous amount to hear the beginnings of this, to really be able to relate to it. In other words, well, let me put you on with one of my colleagues who's really had an interesting experience here. Colleague gets on and says, well, yeah, I started 2 weeks ago, had no idea what I was doing. I followed this simple system. I just got my first paycheck for $200. I can't believe it. That's actually more powerful than, you know, these galactic stories that, you know, from David to Pat, Phil Jacobson, you name it, right? These amazing stories out there. To just hear like somebody who just got started, didn't know what they were doing, followed the system and had success. And what is a fast start story really? It's a paycheck. Even if you're not doing this for the money, that's the demonstration. Okay? I mean, I want to save the world, but I got to be able to afford to do it. Right? So that paycheck is important. And it doesn't even matter if the first one's $25, it demonstrates it works. So you can perhaps, if you've got a couple people just starting as a distributor, follow the system of helping them get that fast start story and start using some of them. Now, if you haven't got anybody yet, I don't want to leave you out there in the dust. Here's my email, Amy McKenzie 747@gmail.com. My name's on the screen there, Amy McKenzie 747@gmail. I would be happy to do a couple calls with you to help you get started and develop people that you can start to use in your own organization. And that's what I could offer.
Excellent, Amy. And who you are is why you succeeded, Amy. To reach out to Michael, offer, you know, your information, to do a call with him. Michael, I'm going to make this real short and sweet. Everybody has active upline. You just need to know how to find them. It's your story and the stories of others that build the business. Now, I'm going to encourage Michael. You got my contact information. Give me a call. I'll help you track people down. One of the examples I was going to use is, you know, I personally sponsored Amy McKenzie. I personally sponsored Pat Anderson. So Amy McKenzie is not in the lineage, the line of sponsorship with Pat Anderson, but because we have a two-legged binary organization, even though I personally sponsored Amy, she came in after Pat Anderson, and in this particular case, Amy went into Pat Anderson's organization, and so Pat Anderson actually benefits from anything that Amy McKenzie's team does. And so Amy uses Pat Anderson as well as one of her uplines. See, it doesn't have to be who sponsored, because we have a genealogy that has other people that are outside of what we call the personal enrollment tree. And so people within your upline organization, every single person, Michael, that's in the genealogy between you and David, they make money from your activity, and they have a fiduciary and a moral responsibility to support your efforts. Also, develop cross-line support. That's what Amy's talking about. Amy has nothing to do with your organization. She will absolutely have zero benefit short-term from working with you. Now, long-term, whole different thing, okay? Profit participation plan, okay? You get paid on company volume. And actually, the diamond bonus, the diamond pool, and the diamond elite pool, you get paid on company volume. So we're being incentivized to work with not just people in our downline, but everybody in Zija develop cross-line relationships with other distributors that can support your effort as you support them. Amy has done it. Amy can call on some of the who's who in Zija to do three-way calls with her, you know, the connection calls, because she's done it for them. Okay, so feel free, Michael, give me a shout. We'll work something out for you. Another question, let's see. Amy rocks. She helps me and does not make one dime from my business. That's from Christine Holland. Okay. Amy rocks. She helps me and does not make one dime from my business. Love you, Amy. Yes, aww. Amy is the best. And so go ahead if you have a question. There's a little you know, cartoon bubble window somewhere on your if you're on your phone, you might have to search for it. If you have a question for myself or Amy, go ahead and write it down, type it out. I'll see it here. I can relate it to Amy. Amy, I've got a question for you while we're waiting for others. One of the key ingredients to your long-term success was your fast start. And maybe, you know, that's what I tried to do this morning. I probably should have just let you do it because you do a better job. But I try to kind of outline why, you know, what it is, you know, start with the end in mind. Why do you want to create that fast start story? And then the elements of how to prepare to do it and then engage, okay? Maybe you can provide a little feedback, you know, what did you do? Because your fast start story, Amy, I'm going to tell you right now, that story, I've heard you use that story even as recently as I believe yesterday or the day before, because again, you know, frankly, unless you're giving somebody that Mercedes, it's cool that you drive a Mercedes from the company, but it's meaningless to them. They want to know, what did you do to get it, right? So maybe you can talk a little bit about, you know, how did you develop your what is your fast start story and how did you develop it?
Well, you know, it's funny, as you were doing the training this morning, I was thinking about how, you know, without realizing it, I actually ended up being kind of textbook for this. And it, you know, my background is theater, and I'm a director and a producer, so I'm used to running the show, calling the shots, making up how it goes. This was really challenging for me because I had to surrender having to know it all, have all the answers, be the one who's, you know, going to direct, right? But I also had such a burning desire, you talked about that earlier, that I was willing to listen, okay? And my story is all about my daughter. Excuse me, need a little Zija here. Product placement. My daughter's brilliant. She deserved a great school. My theater career is wonderful and satisfying, critically successful, and there was really no money. It wasn't going to do what it needed to do for her. And it came down to the wire there, and I realized I got to do something different. Oh, this girl's going to end up in a community college, and she deserves so much better. The better the launch, the better the opportunity she'll have in life. And so I was really listening. And I did literally, I asked you what you did. And I had no idea that I walked into the right company the first time. People, you know, like Joel shoves me all the time. You have no idea how lucky you are. It's true, I didn't. I fell in love with Ken's vision. I'm here because of Ken Brailsford. And I will stay forever because of Ken Brailsford and the support of you and Pat and David and Christine and all the rest, right? That have made this a wonderful journey. But the reality is, it was something I could connect with that could actually accomplish the goal that I had for my daughter. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to ask this man who knows what to do, what he did. And I'm going to do everything he did exactly as he tells me. For once in my life, I'm going to do what I'm told. As we know, well-behaved women rarely make history, but in this case, and I, you know, did my fast start training. It was 45 minutes. I did my little get-going meeting with you to make sure I understood what I had learned. In fact, when I called you up and I was so excited, Fred, I'd done the fast start training. Like I checked it off my list, and you said, well, that's good. Now do it 50 more times. I'm like, what? Do it till you can teach it. Not all at once, but over time. Great advice, okay? Own it. If you just, it's kind of like reading Think and Grow Rich. Oh yeah, I read it. No, you're missing it. You gotta do what's in the book, right? You gotta do what's there. You gotta actually take it like a college course, right? And then review it. It's the same thing with the Fast Start. And then I'll never forget when I called you up and I said, I got this great idea, because now I thought I knew what I was doing. I'm going to write a manual so that everybody has, all the information that they need. And you're, very supportive leader. And so I was kind of surprised when you went, no. What? Amy, let me ask you something. Between you and me, who do you think should write the manual? 30 years, 3 months? Oh, probably you. Well, I got good news for you. I already wrote it. You did? Where is it? You already have it. No, I would know if I have it. No, you already have it. Where is it? Remember that 1-page outline called the Fast Start Training Outline? That's the manual. 30 years experience down to 1 page. Why? Because I'm going to turn around and complicate things, making a better system. Don't do it, you guys. I started getting smart and things started going downhill. I called Fred. I said, I don't know what's going wrong. He said, well, I don't even have to look. One guess. You're not following the system. Okay. I made my lists, one for customers, one for business prospects. I figured out who on that list for customers would probably say yes no matter what. When I explained to them, look, I got to get Valia into a great school. I'm excited about this business. I don't care if you like it or not. I'm doing it. But if you would just try the product, your feedback, I don't care what it is, will help me. And it'll get me off to a fast start. Right? And you got nothing to lose. It's all guaranteed. There were people that were willing to try this because they love my daughter. There were other people who never met my daughter that were moved by my commitment to her. And that's why they said yes. Okay? So I was on the phone. I ordered my package. I was on the phone before it arrived, lining people up for these samples. By the time it arrived, I had 32 samples, right, in the diamond kit, in someone's hands in the first 7 to 10 days. People were trying this. And I'm calling them back. How's it going? What do you think, right? Just staying in touch, 5-minute calls. And sure enough, by the end of 30 days, in a business I had never done before, I literally paid back the credit card I had planned to take a year to pay back. I couldn't believe it. Why? Why did this happen? Well, all I did was invite people to take a look at a couple videos, sent them the videos, called them up as an appointed time, and asked them what they like best. Because I said to Fred, what did I say? I was terrified. So, well, ask them what they like best. I promise they'll tell you what they don't like. Ask them what they like best. Okay. I asked them what they like best. Then they naturally had a question. Oh, hang on a minute. What I love about this new business is I'm getting paid to learn. Let me get my business partner. He'll answer questions while I'm taking notes. And that's all we did, over and over and over. And the people who wanted it now signed up. The people who wanted it later didn't necessarily know they wanted it later, but didn't say yes today, went on what I call my not now list. Mm-hmm. Until someone says flat out no, they're on a not now list. I can't tell you how many of those people signed up a year later, 2 years later, 3 weeks later, right? I just had someone have to call me the other day, right? They've been on the product for years. I think I want to do the business. Oh, God. She's lost 100 pounds on this product, and now she wants to do the business. Thank you, Lord, right? But you just never know. You just keep planting the seeds. So I kept going. And I thought, well, if I can do this, I can show someone else. And I did, not realizing it, again, textbook. When you showed me the 2 times 2 math problem, which, people will learn and they can plug into your training on that. I won't go into it now, but it's brilliant. It puts on black and white on paper how this business is a business of multiplication. And when I saw that for the first time, I realized, oh my God, I did that. Without knowing I was going to do that, I replaced my income in a year. I didn't even know it was possible. I just kept doing the same daily activity over and over and over. And guess what? It added up. And that's the beginning of how I got to where I am today. Thank you, Fred.
Folks, I got to tell you, I'm going to have to edit the program, and I'm just going to put up Amy's story because she's right. It is textbook. I want to point out a couple of things. And Amy was incredibly coachable in the beginning because as a single mom on a limited income, she used her emergency credit card. I want to point out a couple of things. Amy had never tasted the product. Okay. The invitation I gave her was compelling because it was speaking to her listening, a way to create above average income on a part-time basis. I think he had like 2 jobs at the time, or maybe 3 jobs at the time, and we're taking another thing. She invested in a diamond pack, the biggest package of products we got. She had never tasted the product. Okay, it was the potential of the opportunity. And incidentally, if I recall right, you bought that diamond pack before I ever even introduced you to David. I think I did my initial introduction, invitation call. I shared, I think it was one of our like a Thursday night business presentation call, and then followed up and answered a couple of questions, and you signed up before you even got a chance to talk to my upline. Now, what was key for Amy is she had to do this. She had to. That bill was going to come in, and she threw everything, at the wall, right? She had a large list. We contacted a lot of people in that first 30 days. We contacted enough people that she was able to get a return on her investment plus a couple of $100 in the first 30 days. That story propelled her into more income in the second month, and then in the third month. And then I guess it was at the end of that first 90 days, you had a great story and things started to fall apart. And that's because you were trying to figure out how to do the deal, right?
Yep. And I would be remiss not to add that the need to do this obviously was tantamount to finding a way, but it was the vision of Ken Brailsford that I could have a match for. Right? It had to be a match for who I am. When you say speak to my listening, I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was hearing Ken Brailsford tell his story and why he was doing this. I was very fortunate to be on the only call I guess he's ever done like that, which he said it would be. And I got it because my prayer was to have something that could support my daughter, give her what she needed, and it had to make a difference on a global scale. It had to matter. And it was that combination that it didn't matter what it tasted like. I could see the science. I could see it made sense. And I understood that I could align myself with who I am, what my moral code, if you will. Mm-hmm. And it stood up to that, as well as having someone to teach me how to do this. It was a no-brainer.
Amy, we've got just a couple of minutes left, and there was something that was really important to me that we cover, and you could probably cover it better than I. We've been focused all morning long on the brand new distributor just getting started. The best time to build your fast start story is in the beginning. Now, what would you suggest to somebody? Let's say they've been around for a while and they want to be the product expert, so they've got a lot of customers, but they're not getting any kind of duplication. Customers aren't getting other customers, no distributors are coming in. Or maybe somebody that, they made the mistake of not starting with the end in mind. They dabble a little bit here. They've been in a year. They've been in it 2 years. They don't have that fast start story. But so many, and I'm looking at the list here, there's a number of people that I'm seeing on the attendee list right now that have been around a few years ago, and they're starting to hear what's going on with Zeke now. Mm-hmm. And they want to be a part of it, but they don't have the luxury of starting today and having a 1 week, 30-day, 90-day fast start story. What would you recommend that person do?
Get out your eraser, stand in front of the chalkboard of your mind, and start going like this, okay? Because you do have that opportunity. It's all here, all of it. We can literally give ourselves, I've never seen an industry like this, where you can hit restart at any moment in time. What's missing? That's what we're looking at, right? What's missing that if you put it in would make a difference, would make you be more effective? Guaranteed? Passion. Remember when you first started, that enthusiasm about what it is you're doing and what you love, okay? That comes through your pores, right? So it's really about getting in touch with what, as Ken used to say, lights the fire in your belly, right? I'm picking up a few things yesterday at the store. Someone says something, and I said, "Oh, that's why I drink my moringa." I'm gonna go right on my way. Well, what's that? Boom, right?
You
Because
don't
my
know about
intention
moringa?
was there, right? I'd say that you literally begin like you only got 24 hours. Because when you started me, you're like, okay, you got 24 hours to do your fast start training, 48 hours to make your lists. Got to get you on the phone, right, by Saturday morning. And it was Thursday night. Okay, right? So it's not an option to wait. Put it in your calendar. I will be calling somebody at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Friday night, plug in their name. Every day, you only got 24 hours to make the business work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I didn't know that at the end of the year I would replace that income. I just treated every day like that's all I had. And I'll tell you, if I ever lose my way, all I have to do is come back to, wait a minute, why am I doing this? I want to make a difference. I got my daughter is doing incredibly well. She's on her second master's program, academic excellence awards around the world. She's in England now. She was in Asia before that. I mean, I feel fulfilled that. Now what excites me is you guys. Being able to be the one for somebody. There's no greater joy than that. So I would say, erase the chalkboard. Write a new story.
You know, Amy, you hit it right on the head, and I got to just do this, as I know you can't see the Q&A. Reed Nelson, okay? You're really good friends with Reed. You guys have worked together.
Wonderful.
Reed Nelson, folks, you should go to my YouTube channel and check out the video. The Biz Talks video, I think it was probably about 2 months ago where Reed was on there. Reed is an MLM veteran. He's got decades in this industry. He's made millions and millions of dollars. He's got a lifestyle, him and his wife Yvonne, that people can't even dream about. And he just said, start where you're at. We can always start over. Okay? He's echoing what Amy McKenzie just told you. And see, all I can tell you is that, just as Amy said, it's all up here. All right? If you're stuck with what you didn't accomplish last year and the year before and the year before, then you're going to stay there. How about this one? Yeah, I've been using the product for 3 years, but let me tell you what's happened in the last 7 days since I got on a new distributor fast start training with Fred Holmes and Amy McKenzie. These are two of the top leaders in the company. I got the information necessary, and in the last 7 days, I've made $132.17, and I'm having fun. Now, you want to join me, or do you want to wait till next week and I'll get somebody else to replace you? Right? Sense of urgency, fear of loss. So we're at the top of the hour. Amy, it's been just an absolute pleasure and a joy to be working with you. We're actually a lot closer now, but I don't really get the chance to get out of the house. But I'm gonna put you on the spot. I always try to do this so that you can't back out. Would you join me again in a couple of weeks and work with me on another, maybe when we start doing the duplication training or the building in depth training? Would you be willing to join me again?
Oh yeah, this is so much fun. And please, like I said, don't hesitate to reach out. We're all in this together. It's the natural health revolution. It's something to be proud of. And I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Fred.
My pleasure. Amy, I'm gonna let you head back over to the other side there. Give me 1 second. And folks, I wanna just share this with you. Thank you, Amy. Whoops. Nope, that wasn't it. I don't know what I did to you now, Amy. Nope. Maybe I'll just okay, here we go. What I want to do, folks, is I want to just share one last thing with you, because see, everybody can start over, and today is the first day of the rest of your Zija career. And just so you understand, you don't have to be a superstar to end up looking really good. Somebody asked me this, and so I just checked this last week. My first 12 months in Zija, I ended my first year as a gold distributor. My second full year in Zija, I ended that year as an emerald. Now, that is reasonable and realistic. Okay, if you're willing to commit, 10, 12, 15 hours a week, okay, put it into your schedule, be consistent, follow the system, correct activities. The end of the third year, I went to Diamond 1, Diamond 2, Diamond 3. That was record setting in Zija back then. But it was because I put into place in the first year a gold foundation. And that is something that every single one of you can do this year. And that's what parlayed into the next step and the next step. So with that, we're going to go ahead and close things down. And just a couple of quick updates. This training, for those of you that have team members that weren't able to be here this morning, that'll be posted on my YouTube channel. Folks, plug in, okay? A lot of the Upline and making resources available. I'm making them available. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/Fred Holmes Egypt. Okay, if you subscribe to the channel, they'll send you an email notification when there's a new posting. Lots of training, presentation materials are there. Plug in with me on my team email list if you want. It's for my team, but anybody can be a part of that email list. Go to my my personal website, fredholmes.com, click on contact. At the bottom of the page, you'll see a place where you can subscribe to the newsletter. Connect with me on Facebook, okay? My personal page is, at Fred W. Holmes, Fred W. Holmes. The business page is Fred Holmes Zija. This upcoming week can really establish the pace for the rest of the year. We've got a number of promotions going. Pat Anderson will be doing her product focus call on Wednesday evening, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. It's a webinar broadcast. Go to www.clubmoringa.com. Thursday night, I'll be doing the Biz Talks business presentation with a guest speaker. Saturday morning, new distributor training again with a different topic for next Saturday. Be part of what we've got going on in Zija, folks. Don't let this wave pass you by. I'm going to do one last check here. And Mike, always a pleasure to have you, buddy. Aloha. All right, that's it for now. Thank you for joining us. Hope this was of benefit to you. And one last shout out to the great Amy McKenzie. You make me look so good. All right, take care, folks. Have a great rest of your weekend.